All right, I'm going to show you how to draw a couple shapes or objects so you can create your vector landscape. Okay, so I did post a written tutorial on drawing some different shapes for your landscapes. I'm going to kind of go through it using vector. This tutorial was written using Adobe Illustrator, so I'm going to go through it and try to modify it and show you how to use vector. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is draw out a triangle. My triangle is located right here. Okay, so I drew out this triangle. I'm just going to go ahead and make a copy of it. And the first tree we're going to draw is a little pine tree. It's going to kind of have a shaded look to one side of it. So I'm going to go ahead and change this color and make it darker than this one. So what I want to do is kind of cut this in half. To cut it in half, I'm going to go ahead and double click and click on this anchor point and hit delete. Then I'll click on this anchor point and hit delete. Now I have a half of a triangle, and I'm going to go ahead and overlap it with this one. I'm going to right click and select them all, or not right click, but I'm going to select all of them and right click and make sure that they are fully aligned perfect. Oops, not like that. Okay, so if I hover, let's see. If I align them, all right, middle, I'm going to align middle. That way they're aligned in the center. And then I'm going to go ahead and I don't want to unite them because that's going to make them the same color. Let's see. I'm actually going to just leave them like this. I'm going to group them. So I'm going to hold Control G to group, and now they are one shape. All right, so I have part of my tree. I'm going to go ahead and make a copy of this and just kind of stack it 3 times. All right, so there is one tree. If you want to, you can kind of make this bottom one a little bit bigger. All right, so there's my tree. And let's make this one a little bit smaller and align them. Okay, so just adjust it to where you feel like it looks good. And I'm going to go ahead and add let me see. Yeah, so that's it. Okay, so for the first pine tree, for the first example on the paper that I gave you, essentially that's all it's asking you to do is to cut a shape in half to shade half of the pine tree. Okay, if you want to, you can just simply draw out a rectangle, or I'm sorry, a triangle. I called it a rectangle before, a triangle, and leave it one color and just make copies of it and just stack them. That's up to you. If you want to get fancy and shade them, you totally can do that. Okay, and group them together. You don't have to group them together, but it's going to be nice because you're going to have a ton of layers over here if you don't. Okay, so that is how to create a pine tree.